welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl T Lakita and I'm back at you with another video. Guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about something that I never thought I'd talk about on my channel, because I've always said I don't want people to know my personal business, what I've been through, but I've been thinking about it lately and I think that it's very important to inspire people and to allow people to see that where you're coming from and how much you've grown. And I feel like my channel is about that. It's about showing my growth. It's about speaking on my experiences to help others. And this is one topic that I have literally been procrastinating about. It's a topic that really sits there on my heart, and I just thought that once I talk about this, I know that it will help for me to just, even though I've already moved on and I've already found peace with myself, it's just something that I wanted to do to inspire someone that might be currently going through the situation, to just know that you will be all right regardless. You are going to be fine, and for you to just make that big decision to leave. I've managed to get my life back on track and able to speak my truth to other people, and I just hope that this video helps somebody. Right, so let's begin. When I was 16, I got into a relationship with someone that turned out to be an absolute nightmare. I met this person when I was out raving at an event called Ghana Independence, and being such a naive young girl, I was taken aback by his approach towards me. I remember I went out with my friends and we was partying, and I remember this guy came behind me and he was dancing. I was dancing as well. It was my first ever rave, so for me it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I remember after we finished dancing, he then took me to the side and, you know, he asked me, like, you know, my name, etc, etc. Then he asked me for my number. Gave him my number. Now me and him started corresponding via text, via phone calls. And at the time I was 16. Growing up in a Jamaican household, your parents are not down for you having a boyfriend at such a young age. To them, 16-year-old is young. To my mum, who I lived with, I didn't grow up with a dad, so it was just me and my mum. I remember, you know, my mum was very much against me having a boyfriend from an early age, and I remember her saying that the only time I can have a boyfriend is when I'm 18. So obviously, talking to this guy at 16 years old, I'm thinking I have to keep this a secret, because there's no way in hell am I going to let my mom know that I have a boyfriend. So me and him started talking. We started linking, like British people would say. We started linking. So what I'll do is I'll go to see him, because at the time he was a year older than me. However, he was living on his own. I would go to see him. I would skip college. I will, you know, when I'd have my day of college, I'll then go and see him. And this is how we continue to keep our relationship a secret. Obviously, I explained to him that the situation with me introducing him to my family at such a young age was a no-go, and he was okay with that. He was okay with seeing me when he could see me, etc. We got into a relationship fairly quick after speaking to each other. I would say we got into a relationship after 3 months. We decided to say that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. He asked me to be his girlfriend. I was okay with it. I didn't have a problem with it. He seemed like such a nice guy. I was okay. Pretty soon into the relationship, he then went to Malia, because he booked a ticket to Malia to go with his friends. He obviously had already told me and him are together. So for me, you're going on a holiday, therefore you're going to behave yourself. I then realized when he was on holiday with his friends, I hardly had any chance to like speak to him. I know that obviously when you go on a holiday with your friends, you're busy enjoying yourself, but you still have the opportunity to check in on your partner. I realized he never really messaged me, never really spoke to me when he was away. So I just put it down to, you know what, he's having a good time, cool. I had no reason to not trust him, because at the end of the day, our relationship had just begun. So I didn't really think there was going to be an issue, or he was, you know, I just see it as cool, go out, enjoy yourself, come back home. I remember the day in which he arrived back home and he gave me a phone call, and I was on the phone to him, and he was like, you know, hi, how are you? And I was like, I'm good, you know, da 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 da. We're just having a conversation, catching up. And I don't know what made me, I think it's due to the fact that when he was away, we hardly corresponded. I just felt like just coming out with it and asking him how I actually felt. And I just said to him, like, did you do anything on the holiday? He was like, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, he just hung up the phone in my ear. I was a bit like, okay, that kind of gives me the idea that something's gone on. I know for a fact that wasn't just a phone cut off. He literally physically hung up the phone in my ear. I then rang him back and I was like, why are you hanging up the phone in my ear? Like, you can tell me what happened. He was like, you know, when I was away, I slept with somebody. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was very upset. But at the same time, I think I was so naive and just basically just kind of like, in a sense, was like, oh, you know, we make an excuse for him, like, oh, you know, we just got together, like, you know, to be honest, I just felt like at that time, I just felt like he may not have had no loyalty to me, because like I said, we wasn't together that long before this situation happened. But in my head, it was a red flag. It was like, okay, so it may have been early days in the relationship, but you felt it was okay to go on your holiday still and still slept around. Cool, none the wiser that happened. And I started watching him from that. When I say watch him, I mean started looking very closely at the type of person who says they want to be my boyfriend, but you go on holiday and you sleep around. That's fine. Well, it's not fine, but yeah, that was number one red flag. The other red flag was he started university not too long after. I was still in college. I was in like maybe my second or third year of college, and he started university. He, however, wasn't living on campus, so he was basically commuting from home to the university. But he also had friends that lived on the university campus, to which if he wanted to stay around their houses, he could. There was a few times he would stay around there, but then I realized whenever he stayed over there, it would be like conversation with him would be very limited. If I message him, like say at 8 p.m, I won't get a contact back until like 2 a.m. He just started to act real dodgy, and for me, it was like, so you're away at university, and I don't know, but in England, people who go away to university always go away to play. That's the reputation. But I just realized that with him, it was just a lot of distance happening when he went to university. My university now, so it was coming up to the end of my college year where I was now starting to choose universities. This boy begged me to come to his uni. He begged me to come to his university, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll come to your uni. Like, I didn't really see a problem of me not going there. However, before I went to the university, I just came out one day and I just said to him, like, what's going on? Like, I realized, like, ever since you started university, you've been acting very distant. I can't get a phone call from you, and if I do, it's at 2 a.m. in the morning for about 5 minutes, even though I've rang you from around 8 o'clock. What's going on? He convinced me nothing was going on, everything was fine, etc, etc. I also realized when I first got with him, I was very insecure within myself, because I'd been in a situation where I was a big girl. So I was at one stage in my life, I was about maybe 200 pounds. That means I was extremely big. From losing all that weight, I ended up gaining, like, not a lot, but I have a few stretch marks on my side. These were things that brought out maybe a little bit of insecurities in me, and I realized with him, everything I told him I didn't like about myself, he tend to always like it. Like, oh, I like that about you, I love your stretch marks, I love this, I love that. And I think in that sense, it was his way. It wasn't genuine. I feel like it was just his way of making me stay with him because he likes everything that I don't like about myself. And I realized he started to play on these things. Like, he would say like little comments like, no one's gonna love you like I do, no one's gonna want you like I do. And for an insecure girl in an insecure relationship, I started to believe it. I started to believe that what he was saying was true, which is absolutely dumb. Because if I tell you, I grew up in a household where my mum is a very strong black woman, and she's very much like, listen, if a guy's treating you like crap, get rid of him. Like, you don't need to be around him. So to think I'd fallen into this situation where I am now being an absolute doormat to this person. I was a very vibrant character before I met this guy. Very vibrant, laughing, joking, love a joke, love a laugh. And when I got with him, he had drove me down so much to a point where I was just miserable, upset, down, depressed, like all these things. And that's because when I entered my relationship, and this is where I have to take accountability, when I entered my relationship with this guy, I felt that I was so insecure with myself, I should have never been in a relationship in the first place. Because when you don't know who you are or what you stand for, anybody can waver you. If you don't know what you stand for or who you are, anybody can tell you or try and tell you who you are. If you know who you are, no one can tell you nothing, because you know what you stand for. You know your foundations. And I feel like when I got with him, I was in a situation where I didn't know me. I didn't know me. I was a young girl. I've just embarked on this relationship with this person, and he came across like this very strong character. Like, you know, it was always competition between me and him. Who's the smartest? Who's the most intelligent? Who's this? Who's that? And he will always outweigh me because he always wanted me to feel like I was nothing. Not too long after that situation happened, the physical abuse started. It was, I'll give you, I'm not going to go into details on every physical situation that happened, but I will mention mainly two. The first situation happened when we had got into a disagreement, and he went away to stay outside of London with a couple of his friends. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Friday, and I remember that day I had a huge headache, and he had been at this place that he's been staying at his friends from Monday, and he said he was coming back on a Friday. Anyways, Fridays arrive. I've got the biggest headache. If you know me, I don't suffer from headaches, but when I do, it's a lot. It's a lot for me. I remember coming home. I work in retail, so I'm constantly on my feet. I'm extremely tired. To get home from where I work was a train ride and then a bus ride. So when I got to the bus station, to be honest, earlier on in the day, he was accusing me of so much. Because he hasn't been away, because he's been away and away from me, he always accused me. Oh, who you talking to, who you sleeping with, who you this, who you that. Just constant. And it's like, I get up in the morning, I go to work, I come back home. Why do I need to deal with this stress? I don't contact any guys, I don't speak to any guys, but you're constantly on my back about guys. Regardless of the fact, he is with this person, he had me on such tight leash to a point where I lost myself in terms of, can you imagine every morning waking up and knowing that you have to report your day to this person as you go along? When you're in a relationship, you're supposed to feel free to express yourself to your partner. You don't have to feel like it's a chore. It shouldn't feel like it's a chore. It should feel natural. Every time I left my house in the morning to go to work, I had to message this person, I'm going to work. Every time I've reached home, I'm home. It's not genuine in the sense that they actually want to know that you're at work and you've got to work in one piece, or you've got home in one piece. It's just for them to keep tabs on you. And that's what I felt like I had to do for years. For years I was in this relationship doing the same thing. If there was one time in which I forgot to say I was home, and then I rang him, say for instance, and then I'm like talking to him and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at home. He'll be like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me you're home? And it will bring a huge argument, because I had basically gone against something that he had put in place for me to do. So I got off the train and I walked to the bus station. When I got to the bus station, as I came round where my bus stand is, I saw him sitting there. So I'm thinking, I swear this boy is supposed to be outside of London with his mates. Anyways, clearly he's come to start trouble. So he's sitting there, and the first thing, without even greeting me or speaking to me, the first thing this boy says is, give me your phone. So he always had an issue with my phone, with who I spoke to, who I text, always wanted to know what apps I have, always wanted to know who's jumping in my DM, always not even giving me the opportunity, because this is the type of person I'm a very loyal person. I don't need to hide from you who's DMing me, who's messaging me, I don't need to do that. Like, we're in a society where people are going to jump in your DMs, people are going to message you if they have your number. But at the end of the day, it's how you deal with the situation, how you handle the situation. Either way, he had such an insecurity about these social media platforms and who was texting my phone, who was calling my phone, who I had on WhatsApp, this, that. And yeah, at the time I had a BlackBerry. Yeah, I had a BlackBerry phone, and you know, you had BlackBerry pin where people will, like, you give people your pin and they pin you or whatever the situation. So when I come around the corner now, he was like, where's your phone? Give me your phone. So I turned to him and I said, I'm not giving you my phone, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was very defensive in the fact that you've just come from a week away out of London. I don't know what you've been getting up to, but you've come and you're now demanding my phone. No, you're not getting my phone. So then obviously I've turned to him now and said, you're not getting my phone. I then put my hand in my pocket where my phone is, and this boy grabbed my hand, started squeezing my hand, remember, we're in a bus station. My main worry is crazy. My main worry should be I'm worried about myself. But my main worry is I'm in a bus station where my mum's friends, my college mates could be sitting at any one of these stands watching what's going on. He's squeezing on my hand, he's twisting my hand. And then I just got, to be honest, because I felt embarrassed, I turned to him and I said, get off my hands. I started raising my voice, I'm not gonna lie. I started saying, get off my hands, why are you hurting me? Why are you hurting me? He then literally lifted his hands and slapped me across my face. That was my first instance of a man putting their hands on me. Remember guys, I never grew up in a household where I had my dad to put his hands on me. I grew up with my mum. So for a man to be putting his hands on me, it was very, very traumatic. Especially slapping me in my face because you demand my phone and I tell you no. That for me was literally the turning point of this relationship. I was like, oh hell no. So I turned to him and I said, listen, since the phone means so much to you, take the phone. But just remember, from this day, me and you are not together. We are not together. How dare you think it's okay to put your hands on a woman? How embarrassed would your mum be to know that you're out here putting your hands on female because you want to be a controlling little idiot boy? So for me, that was the first physical abuse that happened in the relationship.